All right, sorry I'm a little late on this upload, but this is a trip. So let's go through some of the story. Um, University lowers entry score for female applicants in male-dominated courses. So University of Technology Sydney makes 10-point adjustment and hope to address gender imbalance in engineering, computing, and construction. And it's funny because IT directors all like, we're not taking in underperforming students or doing tokenism here. Yes, bro, that's exactly what you're doing. Let's be 100 about the situation. That's exactly what you're doing. Nobody's getting a free pass, yada yada. But this whole story gets me for a couple of different reasons. There's so many different angles that I want to take with this. Now, y'all already know where I'm at with like universities and how rotten they are anyway. No matter where you're at, I believe they're expensive messes, indoctrination camps, but all that is null and void from what I'm about to say, because that's just my personal opinion. But on a serious note, when we talk about something, if you are going to go to college, if there's subject matters that I say, hey man, I can understand a collegiate experience in engineering being one of them. It's not these goofy degrees that everybody's getting, but this whole stupidity is centered around trying an imbalance, right? So everybody hyper emphasizes equality. And this is why I say it's a joke, stupid concept, because what people have done is they look at certain avenues. In this case, is engineering students. They talk about it sort of in the deal where, according to engineers, Australia, 84% of Australian engineering graduates are men. Female engineers make up 13% of the workforce. So they're looking at that imbalance, right? Where the vast majority of engineers are men. This also goes into some of the gender pay gap nonsense that you guys like to talk about, but I don't want to focus on that with this video. But people see that and they automatically deem that there is some sort of problem. And this is what gets me about these goofy concepts of equality, representation, diversity, and such, because what it does is it takes away obvious merit. If you were a female, I would be offended by this, because what they are literally saying, no matter what this goofy IT director is trying to say, they are saying, look, you guys aren't able to get in. You're not smart enough to get in. Therefore, we got to lower the score to allow you in. Granted, we're going to keep the other score the same for the men. So in order for you, and this is something of merit, it's supposed to be engineering. You either understand the shit or you don't understand the shit. And they're saying that we're going to lower it for you guys just to help you guys out. It's the affirmative action kind of approach, where they're so worried about the damn makeup that they're willing to insult you by making you essentially a token, where they're saying you're not smart enough to compete with everybody else. We're solely letting you in because of your identity, or your color, your race, in this case, your gender, because you're just not smart enough to do it on your own and compete with everybody else. Now, when you look at this, what I like to, when pointing this out, to pay attention to is it points out and emphasizes exactly what I say about the gimmick of this sort of representation element. It's insulting. It's absolutely insulting. But you guys got to stop looking at things and seeing that there's a problem just solely due to the makeup. Like, every human affair, no matter what it is, studies or not, doesn't matter what the human affair is, to act like there's going to be some sort of equality in anything is stupid. Great Thomas Sowell says that same man isn't equal to himself on different days, because it's true. Like, individuals of different cultures, they have different preferences, and obviously it's worked its way out to where men prefer to go the engineering route. Now, if you want women to be a part of that, you can promote it amongst them, but to lower the score, you're saying, hey, we're going to let you in as engineers, but you're not as smart as everybody else, the men. Let's be blunt about this. You're not as smart as the men. Right? And I just don't understand it. Well, I understand it, but I don't understand it because you guys are so obsessed with makeup and just the amount of people that are within a given human affair. It has to be this percentage, that percentage, this percentage. And you don't sit and if it's not, then it's sexism, right? There's something wrong, right? Or it's racism. There's something wrong in every single thing that you guys point to. And that's the problem, is that it's okay for a makeup to be dominated by a specific demographic, mainly because there's other things that you can point to that are the reasoning more so behind that particular demographic being the majority or minority makeup. I use the track and field analogy all the time, where if I, for example, owned a track and field facility in which I wanted to train sprint athletes, and my coaches and my training staff may be predominantly black, but that's not like, that doesn't mean like I'm being racist against white people or anything like that. It's just, you go look at the 100-meter dashes and the 200-meter dash records, and top to bottom, they're black people. You might see some other individuals that are sprinkled in, but for the most part, top to bottom, they're blacks. They're from America. They're from Jamaica and such. And that's fine, right? There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. It does not mean that there's some sort of wrongdoing, which is what people like to point to. They say, well, this doesn't have, or the men primarily make this up, therefore something is wrong. Not saying, well, maybe the women have voluntarily just said that they don't want to be a part of engineering. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with there having a majority, minority makeup. You shouldn't even expect equality because, again, we're all not equal. There's certain things that I'm interested in, and people that are part of similar culture that are interested in. That's just what it is. And if the makeup is majority or minority, that's fine. It doesn't point to a wrongdoing. But if you're looking at this and you're a female, certainly if you're out there, Sydney, I would be offended by this, because these fools are saying, look, y'all too stupid to compete with the men. Wow.